Hello everyone and welcome to this very first Q&A. For the last 2 months you guys have sent us a lot of questions that we're now going to try to answer. And if you don't find your questions in those, it means that we may do an entire video about it. So let's dive into this. And the first category of question is, who the are you? Let us just start with this one. Gil asked us, the introduction poses an interesting question. Who are you? Did you exist before? Or did some marketing company place you together and you are really good actors? Whatever your answer, can you prove it?
We are not actors. I'm probably the farthest thing from an actor. How we prove it, I'm not sure. I would hope that all the rest of our videos and flubbers would prove that we clearly aren't actors and this is not staged.
Gil, we loved your comment. Next question. That one is from Bob and it's also pretty fun. Bob writes, your channel actually came up in a conversation the other day. I mentioned how much I like your filming style and sense of humor. Thank you, Bob. And they came back. The name Sophie has to be made up. It's too French cliché, like a boy named Pierre or Jean or Claude. Their opinion was you picked that name because it sounded cute. Who is right?
Sophie's name is Sophie. I
Bob,
can guarantee you.
I can confirm that you win that one. Next one.
Okay, so the next question comes from Robert. We know you are French. You ended up in Sweden. Your boat is Swedish flag, and you are going to Spain eventually. We're actually in Spain now, so we've checked that. But no background story for Ryan. He sounds American. How did he get to Sweden? By the way, you guys are a lot of fun. Thanks, Robert.
Let's start by looking at this T-shirt. We're gonna like. Can you go here? Like we're gonna zoom on this T-shirt.
Yes, I am American. I came from the state of Iowa and to Sweden via many other states in the U.S. and was recruited for a job in 2010 and came and worked and really loved Stockholm. And 3 years ago met Sophie, and then our boat plans kind of started taking shape. And so in a very condensed story, that's how I ended up on a Swedish boat with a French girl.
Next question is from JC. JC says, I really like your video. They are so good, I think you must have a background in videography. JC, I really don't have a background in videography. I do enjoy filming and learning about the process of filmmaking and photography a lot. I spent a ridiculous amount of time doing those videos and I'm actually not at the level that I want to be at.
The next question is from Hans. Hi, how old are you and since when have you been sailing together? I am... How old am I? I always forget. I think I'm 36.
You are 36.
I'm 36. And you are...
I'm 32. I just turned 32.
We have been sailing together for about 2.5 years. We'll have been sailing for 3 years in January. This has been by far the most intense year, obviously, of sailing.
And before we started sailing together, none of us were sailing at all. So you're essentially the only person that I've sailed with. You're the best. No, but you're really good. I like sailing with you. The next question is from Andrew, and Andrew asks, what type of work do you do that you can do it from a yacht?
I do primarily consultancy work. Some of that's in aviation where I work with clients, and then I also teach some classes. So sometimes I have to go places and do a little teaching. Sometimes I have to go places and work with clients, and most of it I do from the yacht here. And then I also work with a company back in Seattle that works with electric bike kits and lithium batteries, and I'm helping grow that from my boat.
I freelance in communications and I work very closely with a storytelling agency and I help them with social media strategy. That said, I think it's important to mention that before we had those remote jobs that are not like always remote, we do have to travel. We were full-time employed and we did very different things and we created those jobs for ourselves so that we could work remotely and those jobs could support our sailing lifestyle. Next.
Hey Roddy, do you guys have any tattoos?
No.
No.
We don't.
Sorry.
So we're not
Nothing
even,
to show.
we have nothing to show. We don't have any tattoos. Next. David asks, what are your thoughts, if any, after cruising a certain amount of years when it comes to career, location, next step, etc.?
We don't really have a lot of thoughts. We're kind of just taking it as it comes.
Yeah. This is actually the first time in our lives that we are doing something and we don't have like a long-term plans. For the first time, we really don't have that. Like, we're open to anything, and I think it's kind of nice. You know?
Yeah, it's nice. It's challenging too because you're
Yeah.
breaking away from your normal thought
Yeah.
process.
I'm French, Ryan is American, we used to live in Sweden and now we live about everywhere. And who knows where this is going to lead us, and I think that's the beauty of what we're doing. Maybe we end up in some place that we didn't even know existed, or we didn't even know we wanted to be in. Alright, next question is from Philip. Philip is a colleague of mine, and Philip asks, do you guys not want to kill each other's?
Yep. Sometimes.
Yeah. Okay, but let's be very honest here. We've been sailing together full-time for 2 months. We're sleep deprived. We're adjusting to a new lifestyle. We are changing places every week. We're changing country every other week. There is no way that you don't argue in those circumstances. So yeah, we do want to kill each other.
But sometimes we love each other too.
I love you.
I love you too. Okay.
The second category is, so, you want to buy a boat? And the first question in that category comes from someone named It's a Narrowboat Life, who asks, what make is your boat?
It's a Beneteau Oceanis 40 from 2007.
Now David asks, why the choice of sailboat, which is a Beneteau Oceanis 40? Well, David, when we started thinking about sailing and living on a sailboat, we thought of our sailboat as a home, because we didn't know how to sail. We knew nothing about boats. And the only thing that we could relate to is that we were going to live on this boat. We wanted a big kitchen, which is actually called a galley on a boat, but at the time for me it was a kitchen. I wanted to have a shower, and we wanted to have storage space. We also obviously had a budget. With all of those criterias, the Beneteaus and the Jeannots were making sailing very accessible to us in the frame of the budget that we had.
We had some ideas of what we wanted, like with the galley pushback and a more storage room and stuff, and the boat fit the bill at the time.
Next question.
This is my favorite question.
This is a good one. Okay, this question is from Joe, and Joe asks, I don't believe that you have explained where the name Polar Seal comes from. Polar Seal is the name of our boat. Are you sponsored by an EU manufacturer of home insulation or a cold weather clothing line?
No, Joe, we are not sponsored. We are, in fact, not sponsored by anyone. Polar Seal is actually a combination of two nicknames that we each had.
Now, we're gonna let you guess who was the polar bear and who was the seal. We're just gonna leave it there. I think that when we chose the name of our boat, we were not prepared for everyone to ask us, so, how did you choose the name of your boat?
Yeah.
And they were like, ah!
Our boat had a name with it, but it had some personal meaning to the previous owner that didn't fit so much with us. So we chose to change it, but it took a long time to come up with a name. We went through many ideas. Mm-hmm. Some we were very close to going with, and then we came up with this and thought it was, we both just said yes right away. Yeah. And it's a cool name, and we have a fun logo. Alright,
next. Jose and Ramirez ask, did you think about the possibility of a catamaran? Yes, we did. It was way too expensive. That's where the idea kind of stopped.
Yeah, we still look at them from time to time, but I don't even know if price wasn't a matter if we would go for one.
Yeah, they are quite comfortable and they are spacious, and there are so many things that I like about catamarans. But next question is from Scott.
Scott asked, did you two do anything to the boat structure itself to reinforce any mechanical parts? For example, rudder posts, chain plates, etc. Scott, no, we did not. We've done a lot of upgrades to the boat, but the only thing structurally that we did was we replaced all the standing rigging, so all the wires. That's been it?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And that was more of a maintenance project.
Yeah, it was just preventative maintenance.
Ari asks, I want to know how much is your budget per month and how's that going?
Yeah. To be fair, so we had a budget in mind when we started off, and
we're so off.
I don't think we're that off. We are a little off, but we're not like 2 times the amount off.
Yeah. Here's the deal. It's super hard to do a budget when you have no idea what you're doing. Like for the last 2 months, it was virtually impossible for us to estimate how much we were going to spend on marinas, how much we were going to spend on repairs, how much we were going to spend on food. That said, we are going to produce a video about how we are adjusting to money when it comes to cruising. Nick asks, what do you do regarding bunkering food? Difference between longer and shorter passages. Well, Nick, when we do a short passage, it's usually like a day passage, and when we do a longer one, it's usually between 3 and 4 days. And the difference is that I think about what we would need to have on board in terms of food if the fridge or the gas stove were to go. That's essentially the only difference. And then obviously I provision enough for all the meals, plus 30% in case we want to stay at anchorage, or like the passage takes longer for whatever reason. We eat very well on board.
Mm-hmm. Okay, the next category is equipment.
The gear.
The gear. So the first question is from Judy. What navigation equipment do you have on board? We have a Ray Marine suite of navigation equipment. So we have an E80 classic chart plotter in the cabin and on the deck, and we have a VHF system integrated with that, and all the wind and log equipment, and then as well as an autopilot. And then we also have the navigation charts on the phone as well as a backup.
We also have a radar,
which works. The radar works, but the chart plotter doesn't want to talk to the radar.
Yeah.
So that doesn't work.
Bad chart plotter, bad. We have the systems that came with the boat, and we have redundancy in forms of paper charts and apps on our phones. Audi asks, you have a tender, also a life raft. I may have missed seeing them, but I was just curious. How do you get from anchorage or mooring to shore?
So we have both. We have a life raft that sits in its own little life raft bag.
And we love going to shore in a life raft.
The life raft has never been deployed. But we also have a tender that is stacked away most of the time because I don't like to drag it behind the boat. The tender I feel is a bit big for this boat.
Yeah, we've had a bit of a conflict going on.
We're having some conflict about this tender.
Because I really like our tender and Ryan thinks that it's too big. So
it's fine if you like it, but then you can be the one that picks it out of the garage every time and inflates it and deflates it.
So we are studying a way to like hang the dinghy from the back of the boat. Okay, next question. Do you have a SSB radio? That's from Silky.
So we do not have a sideband radio, no. We have looked at them, but it's just not on our priority list right now.
Then Peter asks, hi Ryan and Sophie, do you think about mounting a wind vane? Well, Peter, we have considered the option, but again, it's a matter of priorities in our budget. Those are quite expensive and they require to be mounted, which is like a big project in itself. For now, we don't do those like big ocean crossings that would really make the wind vane valuable. So for now, Okay, David asks, how did you install your TV from an electric standpoint? David, the TV came with the boat, so we actually did not install it. But
it is just on our AC 220 system, so we can only use it when we either have the inverter on or we are on shore power. And to be honest, most of the time we don't even run it.
There is too much good food in Spain for us to sit in the boat and watch TV.
It's true.
Now to the category 4, which is, do you seriously want to know that? Brian wants to know, has the plan fallen off the table yet?
This is not the first question we've gotten about our plant. We actually have quite a few of the questions about the plant. We don't have a name for this plant yet, but I think it deserves one because it's becoming a fast crew member.
Maybe we call it Brian.
The pot is still intact. There's still all the dirt in it.
And the plant is alive pretty good.
It usually sits right here, but sometimes on passage we jam them back here or put them in the sink. He's doing fine.
Bobby asks, I like to find me one of them hats those guys were wearing at the beer garden. That's those. Well, we actually made a few for friends, family, and people helping us out on the boat that we carry with us. This is not the first time that we get this question. So if you guys like would like us to sell them, and that could be like a fun way for people to support this channel, well, let us know. I'll put them on the website. Now John wants you, Ryan, to name 5 things that you like about French women, and me to name 5 things that I like about American men.
So I think French women are very sweet. Sophie in particular is a great cook. This isn't a French specific thing, but with Sophie I've gotten to know and respect and enjoy French culture a lot more. The accent's quite nice. And you're just overall a loving and caring person.
Oh, that's nice. Well, when we met, I liked how romantic you were. Like you were.
That's apparently changed.
No, you still can be very romantic. Okay, but compared to the Swedes, you were actually very romantic. I like the US. I really enjoy going to the US. Ever since I met you, we've been going to the US, and I've loved like every single time that we've been there. I love Iowa in particular. I love the Iowa State Fair. Then I love the values. American values and French values are like a lot closer to each other than, for example, French and Swedish values. Then I love American food. I like that you dip your French fries in the Frosties at Wendy's.
It's pretty awesome.
That's so weird. Last question is from Frida, and it's totally biased. And Frida asks, how can we support your channel?
To be fair, we have had questions from people about this now.
If you want to support this channel, like the very simple things that you can do is to share our videos on Reddit, on Facebook, on Twitter. If you want to support us more financially, there is a way you can do that without actually giving us money. And it is by shopping on Amazon through our affiliate link, which is down below in the description. And that's a way that we can receive a small commission without actually affecting the price of what it is that you want to buy. Okay, I think that we did it.
If you have any more questions though, or anything comes up after this video that you think, oh, I really want them to talk about this more, or I'm really wondering about this, feel free to just shoot us a mail or Facebook message, and we'll do more of these videos. Hopefully we got the conversation going.
Guys, thank you so much for your support. The fact that we received so many questions means that some of you care, which is super nice, and we love reading your comments, and we really hope for some more of that in the future.
Okay.
Have a good day.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.